clear that women globally need more help. And one of the main reasons is that women aren't in the role to make a difference, the decision-making role, the donor role. They're not heading up the organizations where the rules and regulations that take care of women are being set and made. We need women who grew up in the cultures, experienced the issues, understand what's needed, to be the people who are making the decisions. And that's what this program is all about.
My ideal leader today is not about positions or titles in the community. It's about daring to do something, daring to take that first step to overcome challenges, daring to conquer your biggest fear, daring to go through a really hard semester in college without giving up on yourself.
You don't need to be very ready to do something, you just need to believe in yourself.
I am Sainik, daughter of Savon and Jenny, loving parents who encouraged me when our culture tried to hold me down, who hates injustice and feels the responsibility to fight it, who dreams of going to law school and advocating for women's rights in Cambodia.
You are listening to the next member of the Parliament of Rwanda.
I've grown to be a leader who advocates for social justice issues, confront racial discriminations, and stands as a role model for many other Cambodians who follow me.
There is not another woman economist in Cambodia, and I'm standing next to the woman who's going to change all that.
I want everyone here to know the revolution has started.
I am who I am today because of all of the support that I received. I am a SheCan Scholars because SheCan members believe that I can be a change agent.
A leader is someone who sees a need, sets a plan to meet it, and achieves his or her goals by serving others. This is exactly the example that SheCan has set for me.
I love to have power. You know why? Because I can share it. Because I don't have to own it for myself. Because it can help to open doors for me.
It really is a fact that when women are brought in as leaders, countries thrive. Economic prosperity increases and political stability increases. Now you might say, wow, this girl was just 2 years ago thinking maybe she would start a new organization, and now she's thinking about trying to change the trajectory of nations. But that's what we're all about. We think big and we dream really big.
SheCan is a way that we can all stand up and say we will do something about justice, about equality and women's leadership, and we will do it when? Right here, right now. You better know it. That's us.
Good evening and welcome to our 5th annual community meeting. I'm Barbara Beilinga. I'm the founder and the executive director of SheCan. I think most of you on the call already know me. It is an annual event that we do every year. We like to do it because it's our way of keeping our community, meaning our mentors, our donors, our volunteers, and our scholars up to date on what we're doing and accomplishing and planning. Basically, we really want everyone to just be a part of it all. And that's because this community really is critical to what we're accomplishing. We're not an organization of 14 staff members. We're basically a giant hub of people, all of us coming together to build and to grow women's leadership globally. And we couldn't do it without this entire hub. Okay, I have to start by saying that it's sort of weird to watch myself 10 years ago on a video. But what's really crazy about that video is that my messages back then are really exactly or very close to the same as what we still believe and are saying today. So let me tell you basically how I say it now. We know that a critical and key root cause of many of today's world crises is the simple fact that women across the globe, going back centuries, have been severely underrepresented at most of the important decision-making tables. We really also know that as leaders, women can and have made a difference in helping to heal the world. And so that's what we're all about. Helping women become leaders who bring their unique female perspectives to changing their communities and the world. Given that's our long-term goal, we want to start by telling everyone how exciting it is that one of our Rwandan graduates, Patrice Uwasi, who graduated from UC Berkeley with a master's in transportation engineering, is already one of those leaders bringing her female perspective to how her country's run. Just a few months ago, Patrice was sworn in as the Minister of State for the Rwandan Ministry of Infrastructure. This is a cabinet level position. And after speaking to her personally, I know that every day she's directly impacting policies that directly impact women. We're all really, really proud, amazed, and thrilled for Patrice, and also for what it means for us, for She Can. It means this model works. Now, before we jump into the presentation, I want to point out that many of our most important team members, that would be our scholars, are here online with us tonight. Scholars, can you please wave and maybe also put your name, put scholar next to your name and maybe even the school that you're at so everyone can get to know you a little bit. And also, if you haven't already, we'd love for you to put your name in the chat and where you're calling from. Okay, let's get started. Here's what's in store. I'm going to present our annual Scholar Award, and then each of our department directors are going to share what's going on in their department, and then I'll talk about our future vision. The most important part, the funnest part, is we do have 3 of our scholars who are going to amaze you with an overview of projects that they're already doing at home to make a difference. To launch us though, I'm going to have Dine DeMarley, she's our Director of Community Building, just give us a little bit of virtual housekeeping. Dine?
Hi everyone, I'm Dine DeMarley. Quickly, some housekeeping for you all is let's stay on mute during the program. We have 150 people that can be on, so we want to make sure everybody can hear. Your views, you might want to change your view to speaker view instead of gallery view, so the person talking is bigger on your screen. You can do that by going up to the top right corner of your screen. And please use the chat. We will have a Q&A at the end of the evening, but if you have a question as we're talking, please go ahead and put that in the chat. Grace is monitoring it and she'll take down your questions, and at the end of the night, she will call on you to ask your question. So that's it for housekeeping. Now I'm going to kick us off to Barb to present our 2022 SuperNoma Award.
Great, thanks, Dine. Okay, I'm the ED, so I get the honor of presenting our SuperNoma Award. This is an award that we give out every year to a senior who we believe is bringing exponential love and energy to She Can, and also is inspiring her She Can sisters to be bigger and better and more impactful. A little background, this award is named after Lisa Noma. She was a dear friend and an amazing mentor who unexpectedly passed back in 2017. So as the name of the award implies, Lisa truly was a bright star. She really lit up every room that she walked into. She was one of the most authentic, fun, carefree people I have ever known. According to Webster's, a supernova is defined as the last stage of a massive star's life, a great explosion that causes the sudden appearance of a new bright star. So in memory of Lisa Noma and her love for both She Can and our scholar stars, the SuperNoma Award was born. It's always hard to choose who gets this award because truthfully, all our scholars are, amazing. We all know that. But I'm really delighted to announce that this year's SuperNoma Award recipient is Rosie If. Congratulations, Rosie. I hope everyone can maybe air applaud her and maybe drop congratulations in the chat. And then Rosie, let's see. Let me tell you a little bit about Rosie, and then she's going to get up and give us a speech. She's a senior at the University of Portland. She's majoring in economics and minoring in political science, and she will graduate next month. She recently won a full scholarship to Stanford to get her master's in international policy. And so Rosie's going to continue on her path to leadership right here in the Bay Area, and we're really excited about that. She was our first She Can Scholar to attend University of Portland. So that meant that she was there alone for a year and really paved the way for her younger sisters who are there now. On campus, she's been very involved, a part of Habitat for Humanity, Model UN, the Alpha Lambda Delta Honor Society, FGen, UP's First Generation Community, and the Women of Color Club. She's also worked at many places all over campus. Rosie's going to graduate with a 3.96 GPA and 2 prestigious awards from the University of Portland. One for her academic work in economics and the other for her outstanding campus involvement. So what we believe really makes Rosie stand out as a leader is that she has consistently over and over again been one of the first, always raising her hand to volunteer to help and support us. That includes leading the first Cambodian cultural workshop, being a part of our diversity committee, speaking at Revolution 2.0. She's always the one who's really excited to jump in and be a part of it all. But it's not just that. When she gets involved, she delivers. She's been knocking it out of the park since she started at She Can. She makes a difference again and again and again. So I have a Rosie story that I want to share. This happened back when she was still in Cambodia, and I happened to be in Phnom Penh at the time. We were trying to shoot a short video, including some of the scholars. Now, Rosie wasn't going to be in the video, but she was there watching. And of course, we were struggling to get it right. And Rosie in the background saw all this happening and immediately walked over and took charge. She ordered us around in a loving way, and suddenly everything was all set. Rosie, you may not know this, but we nicknamed you Chief of Staff Rosie. And now we realize that maybe you're more like the president than the Chief of Staff. So Rosie, you're a true example of a leader who inspires all of your She Can sisters to aim higher. We're so proud of you. Why don't you come on and say a few words?
Thank you so much, Barbara, for an awesome recap of my achievement. And thank you so much, She Can, for an amazing journey over this past 5 years. I have my award with me, so thank you for saying that. For all of you who have not known me before, and for all of you who have known me, you probably have known how much I love to tell a story. So here we go again. 5 years ago, I remembered coming home to my mom and told her that I didn't think I could get into She Can, but she told me that it was okay because I did my best. With her words in mind, and now 5 years later, I am a SuperNoma Scholar who is about to embark on an exciting journey to Stanford. I could not have done this without my She Can mentors, my She Can sisters, the She Can community, my family, and especially my mom, who's happened to be here in the US right now celebrating my graduation with me. They're also joining here. And for that, I say thank you. For my She Can sisters, if I can leave anything with you, I want to leave you with this. You all are strong, determined, and powerful women leaders. Just do your best, and it's going to be okay. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Rosie. That was beautiful. We really are so proud of you, and we can't wait to have you here in the Bay at Stanford. Thank you. Okay, let's start the program by sharing a little bit about what happened last year. 2021 and the first part of this year, 22, have been fantastic. So the theme of this year, to quote our board member, Melanie Delbecco, is Grow, Baby, Grow. Thanks to all of our generous donors, and especially 2 donors who have pledged major gifts over the next 5 years, we have been able to double the number of new scholars we accepted this year. We're going from 10 to 20. And as you can see on this chart, we started in 2011, we had 4, the next year about 4. These are the new scholars that we take in, which sets the size of the organization for the years to come. We jumped up in 2014, we went back, and then from like 2017 to 21, we had between 9 and 10. And this year, we jumped all the way to 20. Now that means we're doubling the number of women leaders that we're launching into the world, the women who are gonna bring a reverberation to their communities. So what's important to know is that this jump doesn't just mean we have to find more scholars and take care of more scholars. It dictates the size of everything that we do. It means that we have to now double the number of colleges that are providing scholarships, double the number of mentors supporting the scholars, and increase our staff and even our operating budget. But truthfully, we believe this is just the beginning. We can grow exponentially every year and truly become a systemic and impactful and enduring force for change. We are ready. Before our directors tell you about how we're transforming our organization to propel this growth, I want to just quickly tell you how the organization is organized. This is our org chart. We basically have 3 departments. The community building team is on the left, and they deal with everything about colleges, mentors, and employers. We have the program team in the middle. They deal with everything program. And on the right is our development team dealing with fundraising as well as marketing and communications. Let's start by hearing again from Dine DeMarley, and she's the director of community building, and she's gonna give us updates from her team. Take it away, Dine.
All right. Hi, everyone. Dine DeMarley again, Director of Community Building at SheCan. So at SheCan, you, our community, are really a crucial component to SheCan's success. And just as Barb mentioned earlier, growth is our big theme in community building this past year. We have been busy adding more mentors, more volunteers, more colleges, and new programs. So community building works with our SheCan mentors, and they are really the backbone of support for helping grow women leaders. Today, we have 374 mentors supporting scholars, but because we are increasing from 10 scholars to 20 scholars this year, our new group of mentors this year will be our biggest ever, from 50 new scholars that started last year to 100 this year. We're working hard at recruiting and still need about 10 more. So if you want to join, come on board now. We will have completed this year's recruiting in the next few weeks. First step to do that is to come on board and learn what's involved during an online mentor information session. So we're going to put a link right now to sign up for one of those in the chat, or you can always reach out to me directly. All right, so speaking of growing, we're also expanding our college partners who provide full ride scholarships to the SheCan scholars. We currently have a coalition of college partners that have made ongoing commitments to support a scholar every year with tuition, room, and board. Our most recent new coalition member is Loyola University Chicago. We also placed 2 scholars at Georgetown University and at Center College for the first time. And now we're working hard to add more colleges to our coalition over the next few months to accommodate all of those new scholars. So finally, we have seen some rapid expansion also in our volunteer corps. So SheCan's Power to Fly Volunteer Corps started in the beginning of 2021 as a pilot program, and in July of 2021 became an official program of SheCan. So what does it do? As many of you know, our mentors provide continuous volunteer support over a long period of time directly to the scholars. But the Power to Fly volunteers use their talents to fill short-term volunteer needs that support the SheCan scholars, the mentor teams, and the staff, or all of them. Speaking of growth, we now have 100+ volunteers, and they have contributed more than 2,000 hours of volunteer work. And that has gone to approximately 140 projects since it started. That's a lot of power to help our scholars take off. So I'm going to name a few quick examples to sort of bring it to life. Some core members are helping SheCan candidates with their community service projects in Guatemala, Cambodia, and Liberia. Others have done research and data collection for our country expansion strategy. And still others are advising some of our scholars on their Make a Change projects, which you'll hear about just a little bit later. There's always room for more, so if you'd like to join Power to Fly and volunteer with SheCan, You can reach out through our website and let us know you're interested. We'll put a website link in the chat as well. Okay, now you've heard about how community building team is doing. I'm going to pass this over to our program director, Madison Shepard, for some updates on our scholars.
Thanks, Stein. Hi, everyone. For those who may not know me, I'm Madison Shepard, program director here at She Can. And we always joke that the shorthand for what the program department handles is just really all things scholars. A few of our favorite include we get to interview and select new scholars for the program each year. We coach those scholars and their mentors through our well-oiled college application process machine that some of you may remember. We also get to bring the scholar community together once a year for our annual leadership summit and the many webinars that we host throughout the year. And we tap our network, our community for professional development opportunities for the scholars to make sure that they're set up to excel at home after graduation. Now, as Diane and Barb have both mentioned, we're in an exciting period of growth here at She Can, and we're really grateful to be able to expand the program to support more scholars than ever. We're excited to have 20 new scholars this year. We've mentioned doubling several times, and here they are. If you look at this slide, you can see all of our current candidates, many of whom are here on the line today from their home countries. Thanks for being here, you guys. And as Diane mentioned, we are looking for a couple more mentors for this class. So if you're interested in mentoring one of these amazing scholars, please let us know. This brings me to my next piece of exciting news is that we officially launched into Guatemala last year and identified some exceptional candidates from there. We were able to travel with a group of volunteers during that sweet spot in September between the Delta and Omicron waves of COVID-19. And our recruitment model was a little bit tested in Guatemala. Usually we go just into the capital city and applicants travel to us for their interviews, but we knew we really wanted to target Indigenous young women who haven't had opportunities. And so we had to get creative. And we traveled around the country and interviewed in multiple locations and met a lot of inspiring young women. And luckily we found these 6 amazing candidates, 5 of whom identify as Indigenous. And while we were away in Guatemala, the 9 scholars that we accepted last year were hard at work on their college applications. And I'm happy to say that all 9 were admitted to their first choice school and will be arriving this fall. Earlier this year, we also hosted our 8th annual leadership summit. The silver lining of being online again this year was that we were able to feature impressive women leaders from all around the globe. We even had a few of our own graduates join a panel from their home countries. Over the past few months, our team has been hard at work helping scholars with internships. 13 of the scholars so far have secured summer internships, and many more are doing work on campus, summer research, or going home to implement their summer community service projects, which you'll hear about in a little bit. 6 of the scholars that were placed at internships were placed there with your help through direct connections from the She Can network. And they'll be working at organizations like Blue Hub Capital, Psychopathy Is, and Northeast Energy Efficiency Partnerships. We're still working on a few more great leads. So we'll drop the link to our website and you'll see an example here on the slide. You can click in, see who's still looking, and let us know if you have any leads in mind for them. And please feel free to shoot me an email if you have an idea. We'll drop my email in the chat as well. And now I'm going to pass it over to Development Director Maureen Broderick and Barb for some updates on fundraising and the future of She Can.
Hi, Barb. Hi, everyone. I'm Maureen Broderick, the relatively new Development Director. I took on the role, I think at the beginning of September, but I'm a long-term friend and supporter of She Can. Barb and her team have been tenants in my office building for the past 6 years, and I have watched them from across the hallway grow and thrive. Barb and I joked that I'm the landlady, but she is now my boss. And partner. Last year, I volunteered to be the lead mentor for Divina Boyd, an amazing young woman from Liberia who's a freshman at Georgetown. And last August, when long-term development director Kelsey Vaughn said, I'm going to go back to school and get my graduate degree, I kind of secretly raised my hand and said, Barb, pick me. I love this job, and we're having a lot of
We're
fun
having a blast.
growing this organization together. So the development department is responsible for all fundraising activities, as well as marketing and communication and events, of which there are many, many in this organization. So first, I want to thank everyone for their tremendous support over the past 10 months. We're on track to end our fiscal year June 30th with the highest ever fundraising year. Our record-breaking gala alone brought in $750,000. And as Barb has mentioned, we have received two very, very generous pledges, which have enabled us to take our giant leap. So as you've heard over the presentation so far, we have doubled everything from mentors to colleges to scholars. What did I say? Scholars, colleges, and mentors. But we haven't talked about yet, yikes, we have also doubled our operating costs. So I want Barb to take us through what services we provide to our scholars over the 5 years that they're in our program and how much it costs.
Okay, I'll do that. So if you look at this slide, it basically outlines all the things that we provide to our scholars, or as the title says, everything a leader needs. The left column is what we fund directly to the scholar, and that's first, finding her, going to the country, helping her with her application and all of the testing and prep that takes. Then when she arrives, there's a lot involved with flying here and immigration and things that she needs, including technology and health insurance. And then we also invest in her leadership development and her career support. And then the next column on the right is all about the organizational support that involves finding and managing our mentors and our college partners that line up the scholarships, as well as the volunteers and the project support that we're going to tell you a little bit more about, and just this whole community. So this is just an overview of what we provide, and how that funding comes around is on the next slide. So we have come to realize over the last 10 years that every young woman that we take into our program, we spend $125,000 on over the 5 years, the application year and her college year. That breaks down to $100,000 that we raise, and then there's an additional $25K of basically income that we know we can count on from mentor donations. Each mentor donates $1,000 a year for 5 years. So that $125K is then matched with a university scholarship that on average is about $260,000, and it covers tuition, room, and board. So the total investment is just under $4,000 in every scholar.
$400,000.
400, thank you.
$1,000.
Yeah. And what this chart is showing is that every time we raise 100,000, we're able to send a scholar to college. That this 100,000 sets or triggers the fact that we can then raise them, find the mentors, get the scholarships lined up, and get her in school. So 100K sends a leader to college. So what's happened this year is two donors each pledged 100K, and actually one of them a little bit more, over 5 years to support 5 scholars throughout the 5-year program, which is why we were able to add an additional 10 scholars.
So our goal is to sustain this big growth leap and continue to bring 20 scholars a year into our program for the next several years, and then take another giant leap. So to do this, we are going to ask our donors to do 2 things. Number 1, please consider increasing your donation this year. And number 2, please make that an annual 5-year pledge. So, and Barb, pledges are important.
Pledges are key. They transform this organization and enable us to grow. We have a 5-year program. And so a 5-year pledge allows us to know when we accept a scholar that we have the funds to take her all the way through the program to graduation. So for example, a $20,000 a year pledge over 5 years will take one scholar through graduation. A 40K a year pledge will take 2 all the way through, and 100K will take and will support a class of 5 scholars through the program.
But don't be daunted. Every pledge, every 5-year pledge, whether big or small, really makes a huge difference to this organization. So please expect to hear from Barb and from me over the next several months to ask you to increase your donations and make a 5-year pledge.
Awesome. Thanks, Maureen.
You're welcome.
Okay, looking ahead, we can tell that 2022-23 is going to be even better. We know growth isn't just about the number of scholars we intake. It's also about the global footprint, and we're rolling again. We expanded into Guatemala in 2021, and now we're working on selecting our next country. And I have to say, it's one of the funnest things that we get to do. We've been through a long process and are considering several African and South American nations that need women's leadership and are either post-conflict or climate threatened. The top contenders so far, but this is an evolving process, are Tanzania, Malawi, Madagascar, Bolivia, and Ecuador. We'll enter this 5th country next year in 2023, so stay tuned. Okay, it's time for the best part of the night. I'm handing the mic over to Kara Kling. She is our community building manager. She spearheads Make a Change, and she's going to introduce our 3 scholar speakers. Take it away, Kara.
Perfect. Thanks, Barb. Hi, everybody. I'm Kara. I'm the Community Building Manager here at She Can. So I get to work really closely with Diane DeMarley and the Community Department, supporting all of those wonderful programs that she was telling us about a few minutes ago. And lately, I've really been focused on one of our newest programs, which is Make a Change. And we're lucky to have 3 scholars here with us tonight to tell us about their Make a Change projects. They're going to come on in just a few moments. But before they get started, I just wanted to give you a little context about what the Make a Change program entails. So Make a Change is a project that we're currently piloting and really looking to grow over the next couple of years. And what it does is it allows our scholars to apply for funding from She Can in order to lead a social impact project back in their home country over summer break. And this is just so important because these scholars will get a chance to build their leadership and entrepreneurship skills, to grow their network, and to really start to usher in real change at home. I also want to highlight that Make a Change wouldn't be possible at all without the support of FIS Impact Ventures. They are a global fintech company who is funding this program. And a few of our mentors actually work there and introduced us to FIS and helped us build that relationship. So we're super grateful for their support all around. So in this first year of Make a Change, we've selected 5 incredible scholar projects, and 3 of those scholars are here tonight to tell us about what they're going to be doing this summer. So we're going to hear from Moon Sum and Sochea Chhay from Cambodia, and also from Hope Mbabazi from Rwanda. And here's how that's going to go. So each scholar will spend a few minutes telling us about their project. And then after they speak, we might have time for maybe 1 or 2 questions from the audience. So you can either raise your hand at that point or drop a question in the chat. If we aren't able to get to your question at that time, we may be able to circle back to it at the end of the night during the Q&A. And so with that, let's start to hear from our scholars. So the first person we're going to hear from tonight is Moon, and she's going to tell us about her project, Empowering Women Through Higher Education. Take it away, Moon.
Thank you, Kara. Hello, everyone. My name is Moon Song. I am currently a sophomore at Beloit College, Wisconsin. I am double majoring in political science and digital identity study with a minor in Chinese. I am originally from rural Cambodia, and I am passionate about human rights, women empowerment, and gender equity. Yes, the right slide. It's the right slide. Growing up in a community where most young girls drop out of school, getting married, and take care of children. Some were volunteer and some were encouraged by their parents to drop out of school and go to work in the factories, which is like located nearby the community. And it's also a big distraction for young girls in those areas as well. And the other reason is just like a lack of role model is another important reason that young girls keep drop out of school. The next slide, please. Yeah, so after seeing all of this problem, I decided to run a special project called Empower Women in Higher Education. So the main goal of this project is to empower young girls to keep staying in school and get higher education, despite cultural norms and financial constraints. This project has two parts. The first one, I plan to conduct a one-day workshop, followed by a mentorship program. The second part is the workshop will focus on sharing scholarship information, tips to apply for scholarship, and the value of higher education for young women, and also mentorship program. And the second part of this project is I plan to address the lack of English study resources by bringing English books, study material to 150 young girls in those three areas. And right now I have like 20 university students who commit to being a mentor. Some of them are in Cambodia and some of them are in Beloit, Wisconsin right now. The next slide, please. And the Empowering Women in Higher Education project is not the first project that I ran to empower young women, but it is also inspired by the Take the Lead project that I ran for She Can when I was a She Can candidate. And I hope that I can have enough resources to keep doing this every year and expand it to the rest of the rural area of Cambodia. Next slide, please. Yeah, she can play an important role in making this project happen because she can sponsor everything for this project. And she can also connect me with my project advisor, Danielle Waters. She's also here today and help me with this project. And also thank you to my mentor, Andrea. She also here today. She also helped me with project proposal. My project is, and also English error as well. And also thank you to my project advisor, Josh Moore, who is a co-director of the Weisberg program in Human Rights and Social Justice at Beloit College. He also here today. Also, thank you to She Can staff that are very helpful, communicative, and supportive for my project as well. Yeah, next slide, please. I hope this project can decrease the number of dropping out student rate and encourage more girls to get higher education despite cultural norm and financial constraint. And in the long term, we hope to decrease the poverty for young women in Cambodia. Next slide, please. Yeah, I also believe that this project will help me to enhance my leadership skill by leading real project on site, also building network in and out of Cambodia. And importantly, I am doing what I like and what I want to do in the future. So this is really important for my academic and also my career as well. And besides this, I'm gonna earn one academic credit from this project as well. So yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, I think it's about it. And please let me know if you have any question. Thank you so much.
Great job, Moon. Thank you for sharing that with us. Do we have any questions for Moon? You can raise your hand or
question.
Drop it in. Andrea, did you say you had a question?
I do, because I can't remember. So I am one of Moon's mentors. That lovely picture of me and Moon on 3rd Street Promenade. And Moon, how long will you be in Cambodia? Can you remind me and tell everybody else how long you will be in Cambodia to implement your project?
Andrea, yes, I plan to go back to Cambodia only a month to run that project and then coming back, but the mentorship program still keep going until the end of the September. And then I'm coming back here to do the other things. So I'm gonna spend only 1 month to run project and then spend time with my family before I fly to study in Europe next year.
Great, thank you, Moon. I see one more question in the chat from Patty Kroom. Did you want to unmute yourself, Patty, and ask Moon your question?
Sure. I was curious whether you're looking, Moon, to prepare students to study
in the United States or Canada or Australia, or are you looking really to just help them perhaps stay at higher education in your home country? What would your target be?
Thank you. That's such a really good question. Yeah, I plan to share scholarship information to those younger. It's also the scholarship that go to study at university in Cambodia and also outside of Cambodia, which is also include China. I also share She Can scholarship and also the other scholarship that can help young women to study abroad, not only in Cambodia.
Thank you.
Great, thank you, Moon. I think for the sake of time, we should go ahead and move over to Hope's presentation. So if we can get Hope's slides up, please. And Hope, take it away.
Thank you so much, Kara. As Kara mentioned, I'm Hope Mbabazi, currently a junior at Lafayette College. And my project is called A Hand of Simbuka, a 3-day summer camp. Next slide. A little bit about A Hand of Simbuka. It was initiated by me as a tech lead project back in 2018, and it's been running almost for 4 years. It's now consisted by 90 volunteers and 9 committee members. Next year or the years to come, we actually hope to be a local nonprofit organization. And the vision is to help underprivileged street kids who are currently in transition centers. Street kids means that it's like homeless kids in an American way, but we call it street kids back home. Transition centers is a program that was initiated by the government of Rwanda so that street kids or homeless kids could be taken into these centers and be coached, so go through a program whereby they're launched to go back to the community after the program is done. Next slide. Yes, more of A Hand of Simbuka. The activities we do, we spend a very joyful day with the kids. We'll listen to them, encourage them, and hope that we inspire them to maybe dream beyond their horizons and actually see their talents and help them to understand that it's possible to do whatever they want to do in the future. We also hope to build practical skills in them or help them learn practical skills. We've now hosted over the past few years, we've hosted 9 annual local events. We call them editions. And we've now interacted with 700 kids over the 9 editions. And we've helped 1 family to reconstruct a house during COVID. The project overview, which will be our 10th edition, will mainly focus on building practical skills or non-vocational skills, which includes basic coding skills, mainly because I'm a big coding person, and I do hope that where the world is going right now, it's going into a digital world. I hope that they could get maybe basic computer science skills that could possibly inspire them to start their own careers or even go back to school to pursue something related to that. We'll also focus on agriculture skills, such as farming mushrooms and using cultivating tools, because Rwanda, agriculture is the main backbone of Rwanda's budget, and you can potentially exceed in agriculture. So we hope that it could be a platform for them to leverage their skills and actually have something tangible for themselves. We'll also have in-break sessions, which will include games or mind games, which will hopefully strengthen their minds, and we'll have one-on-one period with the volunteer to listen to them, to encourage them to potentially form a relationship going forward. Yes, we hope to inspire the next generation of potential agriculturists and coders to start careers and to dream big beyond their horizons at the end of the camp. Yes, on the left, it's the first edition when I started back in 2018, and it's always joyful to see that. And on the right, I think it was maybe the 4th edition back in 2019. And what really inspired me is that I'm really concerned and I really dream to help in building the future technology of Rwanda. And I also hope that it would decrease the number of homeless kids or street kids in Rwanda, given that a post-COVID crisis is potentially going to increase this number of kids, because maybe the families can no longer take care of them, or maybe their family members are not around, or they passed away, or simply they're just in different cities looking for life in general. And also something that inspired me is the past experience of basically planning this 10th edition is the past experience. It's my passion. It's everything I wanted to. The first time I went there, I never wanted to look back, because it ends up that they teach me more than I teach them. So the past experience also has inspired me doing this. Yes, the impact that I'm hoping to make in the community is to create a network of a community. Those includes volunteers and the kids, given that the volunteers are all around the same age, and the kids are also going to potentially be around the same age, so we can all help each other build our country. I'm also hoping to improve the vocational education, which is a little bit non-traditional in Rwanda. Also, this could raise the standards of living of the kids. And it's a way to give back to the community, because most of us have potentially been in those shoes where we were in the middle of choosing whether we should go forward or whether we should actually dim our lights. So I hope to give back to the community, because I have been there. My personal benefits is that I will develop the project management skills, which is where I hope to take my career. Yes, and it's a personal fulfillment, because it's my passion, it's my goal, and I will be achieving the dream, because that's what I hoped to do coming here in the United States as well. She Can support will include the funding for the entire program and the entire project as well, 10th edition. And it has also helped me as in planning and executing. It has also provided the Power to Fly volunteer support, Alyssa May. And it has given me a beautiful family, Tim Hope, Sandy, Chhay, and Caroline, who actually are here right now on the call cheering me on as well. So I'm very glad they're here tonight. Yes, so I'm looking forward to have that. Next slide. We're hosting our 10th edition on the May 28th, which is when I'm going back home to execute my project. And I'm very much looking forward to that. The picture right here on the slide was taken from the 7th edition in 2020, pre-COVID. And everybody raising a hand, because we're called a hand of Simbuka, hoping that we can give them a hand to jump, which is what a Simbuka means in Kinyarwanda. Thank you so much.
Awesome job, Hope. Thank you so much. I love how both you and Moon really took your Take the Lead projects and are continuing to build on those and really expand your impact. Thanks for telling us about that. Who has a question for Hope? Sandy, would you like to unmute yourself and ask your question?
Hi, I'm Sandy Chen. I am part of Team Hope and am so proud. And there's a number of us here to support you, either obviously all here on the call or definitely in spirit. But my question for you, Hope, is do you, for your specific camp that's in a month, are you, what exactly is your role going to be? Are you going to focus on a specific aspect of the camp, the mushroom farming part, or coding, or what?
Yes, thank you so much, Sandy. I think my role has already began by thinking through the idea and also planning ahead. But I'm also flying there to be there with the kids. My role during the camp will focus on organizing overall, coordinating, but I will also be a part of people who are going to be teaching the kids the computer science skills. So overall, I'm overlooking the project, but in general, because I like to interact with the kids, I want to also take a part in the computer science teaching. Thank you so much.
Love that. Any other questions for Hope? Just searching through all of your lovely faces here. If you think of another question, you can drop it in the chat, but for now, let's move on to Sochea's presentation. Sochea, you can go for it whenever you're ready.
Hi, everyone. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sochea Chhay, and currently I'm a freshman at Beloit College, and my major is undeclared. So today I have a great honor to be here and present my summer mega change project, which is Women, Water, and Sustainable Livelihood. So next slide, please. So there are two goals that I will achieve in this project. So the first goal is to increase access to clean water in rural Cambodia. And the second goal is to empower women farmers in palm trees farming by providing them with skills and resources needed to start their own farming. So how to achieve these two goals? So firstly, the projects will dig a well in the community where clean water is still unavailable. And the second, my project will choose women from 10 families to learn the technical skills of raising organic chickens and how to use and how to use digital marketing to advertise their chicken products. And those technical skills include how to use incubator, how to make chicken food, and how to provide vaccines to small chicks, so on and so forth. So can you move to the next slide, please? So where my projects take place. So here's the village where I will implement my projects. So the reasons that I choose this village is that tap water in this village is still inaccessible, and people in the village still depend entirely on waters from the nearby lake. And children in this village needs to bring their waters from home to school. And it's also because I have a friend who is a primary teacher in the village who introduced me to the village chief, who helped me to further understand the problem in the village. So can you move to the next slide, please? So what inspired me to do this project? So let me tell you where I grew up. So I grew up in a small village called Damko village in Kandal province at a time when pipe water was not widely available. So at that time, I saw many families in my community still using rainwater, ponds, and lake as their drinking sources. And some water are really contaminated by the factory, pollutions and waste, which cause many children to have diarrhea. So do any one of you know how many Cambodian people still lack access to clean water? So according to water.org, 77% of Cambodians in rural areas lack access to clean water, and this is a very high percentage. And this problem creates significant impact not only on people's health, but also on farming, livelihood, and children education. So due to the lack of clean water, the chicken death rate increased up to 80% according to investing in rural people, and forcing children to give up their educations and work in garment and brick factories to support their families. So, can you move to the next slide, please? So how will my projects impact the community? So my projects will have a significant on the community. First, approximately more than 1,000 villagers and children will have access to clean water through well digging. And second, the women who get trainings on palm trees farming and digital marketing will then continue to spread their knowledge to other women in the community. So those knowledge can help them sustain their incomes to support their family and their children educations. So My projects cannot be achieved without the tremendous support from SheCan's staff, mentors, and my project advisors. I want to use this time to express my gratitude to my mentors and my project advisor, Dalla Smith and Josh Moore, who gave me endless supports and motivations. I still remember what they told me to believe in myself. I quote from my mentors who always told me, "You can do it." I also want to thank to SheCan who provide for funding for my projects and logistic support. And also an amazing SheCan staff, Cara, Barb, Alexas, and Caroline. They help me a lot and they are really supportive and helpful. And this is the pictures I took with my lead mentors, Paula, who is also in the chart. It was also in this in Chicago. So can you move to the next slide, please? So how does this project impact me? So this project helped me to develop many entrepreneurial skills such as analyzing skill, planning, collaborating, problem solving, and communicating. It's helped me to understand what needs to be changed at the grassroots level and how to empower the community, because I believe that the prosperity we all want to see begin with community development. It also gives me the opportunity not only to learn about the problem in the community, but also to make connections with community people. And this valuable network that I will make during my time in Cambodia is really beneficial for me when I graduate and return back home to work in the future. And thank you very much. Do you have any questions?
Great job, Sochea.
Hi, Sochea. This is, hi everyone, I'm Paula Gorman. I'm Sochea's lead mentor. Great job, Sochea. I'm so excited to see you in a couple of weeks. I do have a question for you. Curious to hear how you know so much about raising healthy chickens, or if you're going to be partnering with someone when you're over there to help that educational process.
Thank you so much for questions, and it's really great questions, Paula. Actually, I don't have much knowledge about how to raise an organic chickens, but I know a trainer who is specialized in raising chicken, and also invite him to be a trainer in this educational platform or trainings platforms for women in community.
Great. I see one more question for Sochea here in the chat. Actually, this is a question to all three scholars, and this will be our final question before we move on to the next section. But Phyllis, do you want to unmute yourself and ask your question?
Okay, I shall. It's clear that the three of you have had an impact on your home culture and world. I wondered how your American classmates, the women that you befriend during your time here, what's the impact when they see what you spend your summer doing?
Thank you, Phillips, for your questions. So actually, I'm planning to share what I will do for my summer projects to my fellow Americans, American friends through presentations in class and through doing presentations in student symposiums. And I think it's a very great platforms that I can share what I learned to all of my American friends. Thank you.
Moon or Hope, did you want to chime in on that question?
Oh, yeah, that's such a good question. I'm just utterly involved on campus, and I know a lot of them expect American students, and every time I talk to them about my summer plan, they just how you figure out all of those things by your own, or you have someone else to help you with that, because they still stuck with they don't even know what to do in summer, and some it's just Moon, you not the one who like to talk, but when you talk like my mom. I'm just oh my God, it's so funny. But but yeah, they really support me, even though I told them what I want to do in the summer, and then they spread the word, and then they also helped me find the English book, also spread the word who want to become the mentor in my project as well. Yeah, I really love it.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. I don't quite see Hope's video on, so I think we're going to wrap up this section. How inspiring was this? Can we get a round of applause for these young women leaders? Yay. Thank you for sharing. Really loved hearing about your projects. Barb, I'm going to toss it over to you.
Great. Thanks, Kara. I just want to close this section off by, stating what might be the obvious, that Make a Change is a win-win for everybody involved. Our supporting company, FIS, they're becoming an instrumental partner in the change that's happening in these countries. And the scholars, they're already making an impact and growing. They're already making their personal, impact or footprint, and they're growing as leaders. And then the local communities are benefiting because they're, having these change makers usher in solutions that they understand are needed in their community. So we love this project, Make a Change. This year we have a total of 5 supported by FIS, and next year we really hope more companies will come on board and support this project. I can envision a time when all our scholars are instigating a project at home. So if you think that a company that you work with or that might be interested in supporting some of these projects, please reach out to me or anyone at She Can, and they'll get me the word. Okay. Before we wrap it up with some let's wrap it up. I have some upcoming events and then how to get involved. First of all, we have 2 events. Our Cambodia Culture Workshop is coming up next week on May 3rd. And this is where 2 of our scholars will dive in and give you their personal account of what the Cambodian culture is all about. We just finished doing one on Liberia last week, and it was really, really interesting, and a lot of people came and loved it. So Sophie Vin and Sochea will be leading this one. And then we have our annual commencement. Our class of 2022 is graduating soon, and so on Saturday morning, June 4th, 7 a.m. Pacific time, we're going to hold our annual commencement. We do it that early because that way all around the globe, friends and family, all the way over to Cambodia can join and watch. It's very emotional. It's uplifting. Each of the graduates gives a wonderful speech. We have a lot of music. We show a lot of pictures of them as young girls, and the mentors speak as well. You can RSVP to both of these events because I think my team has put the links in the chat. And now I'm going to hand it over to Caroline Warburg. Here she comes. Let's see. She's going to tell everybody about our big gala.
Hello, everyone. So as Barb said, I'm Caroline Wilbur, and I am the marketing manager here at She Can. For anyone who is new to the She Can family, I want to let you know that Revolution 2.0 is our annual gala held every November in the San Francisco Bay. And we might be a little biased, but we think it's the best party all year. I am thrilled to announce that our theme this year is Launching Women Leaders. And we talked about a lot of different themes, but we landed on this one because we really just know that with the support of our community, our scholars can rocket up into high levels of leadership. So if you're on this call, you should definitely save the date for Saturday, November 5th. And we're really excited to be back at the San Francisco War Memorial for this event. However, because we do have friends around the world, we will also have a virtual option for people to attend that way. For the in-person event, I do want to note that we have limited tickets available. However, if you sign up as a gala partner, you are guaranteed in-person attendance for yourself and for your guests. So if you know that that's something you'd like to do and would like to secure your spot early, please just send an email to our lovely development director, Maureen, and her email is in the chat. The last thing I'll note about Revolution 2.0 is that we will have an in-person kickoff event at a very fun bar in San Francisco on Thursday, June 23rd. Stay tuned for more information on that. I'm going to pass it back to you, Barb.
Great, thanks, Caroline. Okay, in addition to coming to our events, there's a few other ways to support She Can and help us grow global women's leadership. They are something you've actually already heard about, mentoring. We're still looking for approximately 10 mentors to support the incoming class of scholars, and Power to Fly. We're always looking for more volunteers to help our scholars fly, to take off. Thirdly, I wouldn't be a successful executive director if I didn't acknowledge that as a nonprofit, we're always looking for donations. This is our livelihood. So if you'd like to support our work and help us build global women's leadership, you can do that on the link that's in the chat. You can go to our website, or you can reach out to any of us. I think we're going to head into some Q&A, and we have plenty of time for that. It was a lot of information. Grace has been collecting questions along the way, and we'll call those out. If you hear your name, unmute and ask your question live. Grace, who gets to ask the first question?
Wonderful. Thanks, Barb, and thanks everyone for leaving your questions. I'd love to start off with a question about the SDG goals from Jennifer King. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask your question.
Fabulous job, as always, Barb and Team She Can. Amazing. Jennifer Carolyn King, president of Rugged Elegance and the Rugged Elegance Foundation. One of the reasons we at Rugged Elegance Retreats and the Rugged Elegance Foundation are such big supporters of She Can is that you address our primary goals tied to 6 of the UN's 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Number 3, good health and well-being. 5, gender equality. 10, reduced inequalities. 13, climate action. 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. And 17, collaboration. Barb, or whomever wants to take this question, can you speak to these SDGs and perhaps others that apply specifically to She Can, and how you are making an impact on the UN's Sustainable Development Goals? Thank you.
And I'm so glad you asked me this question. So I would say that I love that you see us as, addressing all of those goals. My personal answer is that what we directly address is SDG 4, which is education, and SDG 5, gender equality, and 10, reduced inequalities. Like, to me, those are the ones that we're direct at. But what I love to have the opportunity to say, so thank you, Jen, is that I see women's leadership as impacting all the SDGs. When women are included as leaders, change happens. Everyone's issues become addressed and become, at the forefront. And so our mission of building women's global leadership is impacting, I think, all the SDGs. And then just to kind of make that example, I want to just say that there's this book by Paul Hawken about Project Drawdown. It's a whole effort. And he makes a clear case for how that severely reducing climate change, or significantly reducing climate change, is highly tied to women's empowerment and women's education. One of the primary reasons is because lower birth rate would impact climate threat. But in this way, you see that empowering women is a chain reaction that goes across the SDGs. It doesn't have to just be about women's education, etc. Thanks for asking that, Jen.
Thanks, Jen, and thanks, Barb. I want to go back to a question that was in the chat earlier from Patty about operational costs. Patty, would you like to unmute and ask your question? I think you're still on the line.
Yeah, when we were going over the costs earlier, and it was like $100,000 for a scholar, and being close to higher education, I know how those costs have gone up, and I wondered what kind of cost increments you've seen. I realized that you might not be doing the tuition and fees, but just even like now, inflation's pretty high, airfare and so forth, how you factor that into planning both for now, but when we're looking at over 5 years or looking out at that, what you see in terms of potential cost increases and their impacts on the program.
So yeah, we have seen significant costs, and our budget has gone up significantly for our next fiscal year. We also know that as we continue to grow, that we will be able to enjoy economies of scale. And so while we're factoring that in, our budget, we've just realized that our budget for next year will increase with our extra scholars to 1.8 million from about 1 million this year. So that's almost doubling. But that has to do not just with inflation, but with increased numbers of scholars. But, you know, we create a new budget every year and we take into account the economies of scale as well as inflation costs. And yeah, did that answer your question, Patty? I lost her.
Thanks, Barb, and thanks, Patty, for your question. Next, I'd like to call on Sochea Hoot, Scholar Sochea. I believe you had a question for Moon about her Make a Change project. Sochea, if you'd like to unmute, I think you're still on the line, or she might have just, oh, you know what? I
just entered.
Oh, great. Oh, let's have her reconnect to audio. Hi, Sochea. I was going to call on you next for a question. I saw that you had a question for Moon about her Make a Change program, if you'd like to ask it.
It might be a technology problem.
Okay, I'm going to head to a next question then while we work on that issue. I had a question in the chat that I'll just ask out loud here. What is the secret sauce that SheCan uses in selecting these exceptional young women who will clearly impact their home countries?
Oh, I get to answer that. Thank you. Who is it that asked that? I'm sorry, I didn't listen, Grace.
That was Jane Gutman.
Oh, hey, Jane. You know, we have an amazing program team, and we have a system that involves not just SheCan team members, but also our mentors. And we go boots on the ground to the country, and we spend about 2 weeks after an extensive application process. We spend 2 weeks interviewing them with a series of different market research techniques, basically, from my past career. And then we spend another 4 months watching them while they take our SAT prep courses, and also do what you saw were some take the lead projects. And we believe that through that, we really can look beyond what the paperwork that might be gathered at their high schools and, you know, through their lives that the colleges only get to see. We get to understand who really is a leader and what their personality is like, and who really has that personal heart to return home and that drive. And thank you for noticing that, Jane, and allowing me to explain it.
Great, thanks, Barb. I'm just going to go ahead and read out Sochea's question in case she's still having audio connection issues. Moon, Sochea was wondering, how did you find the network in Cambodia and ensure these connections to help with the preparation for your project?
Thank you, Sochea. Such a good question. Yeah, without all my friends in Cambodia, I think it's so hard for me to prepare everything from here. So basically, I have a few friends in Cambodia right now. They just like I introduced them to my project idea and what I want to do. They just like, all right, just tell me when you're gonna come or when you're gonna do it, and then I'm gonna take a few days off from my work. They really support, just like very supportive. And so basically, I'm gonna go to 3 different provinces in Cambodia, which is very far away from each other. But luckily, like one of them is my hometown, so I have a good connection with principal, like high school principal over there. So I just take them via message and then ask them, and then inform them that I want to go there and then run my workshop over there. They said okay. And then the other one, it's just like I used to work for as a translator for Australian student, and then I go there and then I build network, and then I want to go back and have younger in those areas. I just connect with the guy that I know over there, and then they just like, yeah, it's a good idea, so come, you know, all of about network. SheCan takes us, so use that skill.
Thank you, Moon. And for the next question, I think Danielle Waters, you might have had a question during the Make a Change presentations as well. If you want to unmute and ask your question.
I did. It wasn't so much a question as much as a kind of referral for Sochea, for an organization that does projects with rainwater outside of Phnom Penh. So I did send her my email, and I will provide her with a contact after this. So thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Danielle. That's connections again. We love it. Thank you. I see another question in the chat here from Nancy. Would you like to go ahead and ask your question?
Sure. I'm just curious whether you are seeing any interesting trends or changes in either the majors or the careers that SheCan scholars are interested in pursuing.
Such a good question, Nancy. I'd love to get some backup from Madison. If you have any thoughts, you're shaking your head. So Maddie, do you have any ideas on that one?
Yeah, and this seems really obvious, but I do feel like we've seen a big uptick in the number of scholars interested in the health field in the past year and a half. I think definitely COVID-19 is playing a role in that. But also I think scholars are noticing just how lacking our health systems are and want to be a part of the change there. I also feel like in Cambodian scholars, maybe you could back me up on this or tell me if I'm wrong, but I do feel like we've seen a lot more STEM interest in Cambodia as of recently, which has been interesting, a shift away from some of the more social sciences into more of the STEM fields. So I'm excited to maybe watch that industry grow a little bit more in Cambodia in the future. But those are the two main changes I think I've seen myself. Anyone else have anything to add?
Oh, I think you got it.
Okay.
Well, I just want to see if there are any more questions. If you want to use the raise hand feature on Zoom, I'll call on you. If not, I can pass it back to Barb. But any last questions?
Okay, I'll take it. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. And, really heartfelt thank you for the ongoing support that we get. We've sent out a lot of links, so stay tuned. You'll get an email with a recording, a link to this recording, and links to, how to become a volunteer or a mentor. I want to give a special round of applause to our Make a Change scholars and our SuperNoma awardee, Rosie If. Thank you. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to just give a big hug to everyone for being a part of this organization and the hub growing women's leadership. I'm fortunate to work alongside all of you and create opportunities for women leaders. Thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you again soon. Thank you.